Everybody, welcome to the show. As you can see, we got the lovely Lake Fairy and Prepper Tribe is here now. Milkmaid messaged me earlier. She's going to try to join us here in a little bit. Got my fingers crossed that Roots is going to hop up here. Native Voice may even pop up here. We'll see. He's got a show at 9 o'clock, right, Tribe?
Yeah. Yep. 9:05.
So that's why I went at 7:30. So we got a good hour or so, and so I don't miss his show because I definitely want to see what he's got going on.
It's gonna be fun, man. It's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah. Let me go ahead and do the hellos to the chat. Let's see. We got Dusty Data. What's going on, brother? I'm your Huckleberry, Cherokee Survival, Angela B in North Carolina, Sherry Leach. Hello, Ship Kicker. What's going on? Nisi, Monique. Let's see who else we got. Caribbean House. Hello there. Sheila. Bigfoot. What's going on, brother?
Bigfoot.
Rosetta Jones. What's going on? Debbie Sims. Jeep. What's going on, Jeep? Hoot. What's going on, Hoot? Jill Frazier.
What up?
Bug Dude. Rhyme of the Ancients. Terry. What's going on? So everybody, welcome to the show. I know this is just like a random time for me to go live, but I have a lot of weird things on my mind, mainly about this whole Augustine Farms debacle and some of the other stuff that's going on. And everybody knows my brain works different than most people's, and I come up with weird angles on different things. And what's up, Backwoods? I sent you the link if you want to join us. I got a weird idea about this whole thing, and I figured I'd just get a couple of people up here and just kind of let it just roll off my tongue and see what you guys and what people in the chat, see if you guys think there's any validity to it, or at least what I see. Okay, here we go. We got, well, actually, let's let everybody do their hellos. Tribe, go ahead, and we'll go around the horn and give Lake. And we have DJ.
Welcome. Hey, I had to go in and beg my sons to cook supper for me. So, yeah.
So, you guys want to say hello to the chat? Address anything before we get started?
I'll say hi real quick. What's going on, chat? What's going on with y'all? Hello.
Ditto.
Ditto that.
Right.
But I'd like to add, hello, everybody.
Yes, indeed.
Pretty good. And you did that without the machine. That's pretty good.
Yeah, right. You guys know I have one of those little machines, and I ain't used it. I've had it for a long time.
You gotta hook it up. Hook it up, TJ.
Do it.
Let's see. I'm like computer stupid, so yeah, I have to have people do stuff like that for me.
Me too. It took Nisi like probably when I got it that I don't think I got it hooked up till the next day because we were messing it up. I put it back in the box and was like, forget it. Then she did the research and told me how to do it. I didn't know how to do it.
So what's going on, Ghost?
All that much. My brain's been going on overdrive with this whole Augason Farms thing and all this other stuff. And it's just like I got a kind of a different angle on it than most of the videos I've seen because everybody's posted a video on it. And I figured I'd just kind of wait a day or two and let everybody put their views on it and see if anybody said anything like I'm fixing to say. And I hadn't heard anybody say anything like what I'm fixing to say. So I just figured I'd go live and talk about it and see what you guys think. Okay. So Augustine Farms. All right. Those guys, they've been in business since 1987. That's 35 years they've been in business. They've got somewhere between 70 and 100 employees. Okay. Hang on. We got room for one more here. They got somewhere between 70. What's up, brother? Somewhere between 70 and 100 employees. All right. And they put this very, it was almost like a scripted letter out that they're going to shutter for 90 days. And they're going to go out and find more. All right, they're shuttering for 90 days because they can't find the raw product, the raw materials to do their stuff. But they're going to shutter for 90 days. And apparently the way to find stuff that you can't find is to close, which makes no sense to me. So if you can't get it now, how the hell are you going to get it in the middle of the winter? It's just weird. And and it's just weird because you get a letter saying they're going to shutter, but nobody released an internal memo where they're telling the their employees that they're laying off. What's up, brother? Nobody, there wasn't a memo released to their employees that they're going to be laid off for 90 days. It's very, very weird. And then you look into it like, so they're going to shut down for 90 days. So that means somewhere in mid-January, they're going to be back open for business. All right. Anybody really growing a whole lot of shit in January? So where's it coming from in the middle of the winter? If you can't get it now at the end of the growing season, when stuff's everywhere, how are you going to get it in January? That logistically, that makes no sense to me, number one. And then you got, all right, and I can't prove it, but I guarantee you probably at least 60, maybe 80% of the vegetables and stuff that they're processing, those things are coming from hydro farms because they can run year round. All right. You can rock and roll with tomatoes and all those veggies and those leaf veg all year long. There is no uptime. There is no downtime. You can rock and roll 365.
Yep.
So I'm going, so it's like, so it's just a logistics thing. They just can't get the transportation. Well, McDonald's and Taco Bell and Burger King ain't got no problem getting their stuff delivered, and they're all over the country. And it's just, and you're talking about Augason Farms. That's like the big dog on the block when it comes to freeze dried stuff for preppers. That's it's not a massive company, but it's the go-to company. I mean, they're famous.
Yeah.
Period. All right. And here's the crazy part. It's Mormons. Okay. It's part of their religious edict is to prep. That's part of their religion is prepping. I mean, I believe you're required to have something like a 2-year supply of food or something like that. All right. So it's in your DNA to prep. Okay. So you're talking about a 35-year-old company owned by preppers, ran by preppers, and the only thing they do is prep. So you mean to tell me they got dick punched with this and didn't see it coming? No, I don't believe. Huh?
I see where you're going with it, though. Yeah.
I think it's two things, and I know. Yeah, me too, TJ. But the one thing I thought about it is because I think you're going to get to this point where I know where, like, I can figure it out what you're thinking.
Well, I got one more sentence before you say that.
All right.
On their main website, if you go to the bottom and you click that little tab that says About Us, and it tells you the history of the company. This is quote unquote. If y'all don't believe me, go look at it. It's on their main webpage. It says, and I quote, that Augason Farms has and maintains a special relationship with the Department of Homeland Security. It's on their landing page. They maintain a special relationship with the Department of Homeland Security. It doesn't take but the swipe of a pen in DC. Everybody knows the government can assume control of the food, any kind of industry, any kind of transportation, anything they want, communication, whatever. So what if you were in position, if you were a shot caller, we'll say, and you wanted to make sure you had food, and you needed to get it, and you wanted it to be shelf stable for many, many years, that would be the first company I would take control of. That would be the first assets I would seize, would be that freeze dried stuff from a company that's been established for 35 years. We know it's good and it's high quality. And then they put out this generic letter. But here's the thing. It's a prepping company. That's all they do. Amazon's got a buttload of Augustine Farms stuff still on the shelf, and they're still selling it. So if they're a prepping company, you would see this coming. You know what I mean? Maybe there would have been a slowdown. But no, they just one day said, we're stopping it. And it's right at the end of the growing season. This is when you can get, you still got some stuff. This is when the crops are coming in. And they're talking about we're going to take 90 days off and build up our stockpile. No, sir. Nuh-uh. Who's going to be growing your stuff, come January? It just doesn't, 1 and 1 it's like 4.5 by their math. I'm not seeing it.
Yeah.
It just don't make sense. There's something, I'm telling you, at least in my belief, I think everything they had in the warehouse, because of their special relationship, I think everything they had in the warehouse got bought by one organization, and they're sitting on it. It's either that or farms are really prepped up and they're going, man, it is going to be a dark winter. We're going to hang on to what we got, and then ride through the winter, and then maybe we'll release some of it come January if it does get real bad. That legit could be it too. But
Mm-hmm.
either way, those two scenarios to me are the most likely. But either way, they're lying to us.
Yeah.
Well, for $89,000 and 8.99 cents, what'd you figure that out to be, Ghost? About $12.50 per person for 5 to 9
A little
weeks.
bit less than $12.50 a day.
Yeah,
for 20 people.
but who can
Which is-
afford those prices, Ghost? Who can afford them?
I actually did a little bit of research on that too on their website today when I was checking this out. They have this thing called a group buy or a friends buy, and you can pick 20 people or 19 other people from anywhere in the country, and you guys can buy as a group, as a share, and they will ship your stuff. Like we could get 20 people in here and join as a group, and each one of those people in that group is responsible for their share, and they have payment plans, and then they'll mail it out to you. It's kind of like drop shipping. You know, it's when I looked at it, I was like, man, that's a lot of money. And I went, wait a minute, 20 people for a year? Let me do the math. And I was like,
So,
$12.50? Yeah, that's a good deal.
So like friends, family, mag, all get together and go in on something like that. It's a good deal.
Yeah, it is a real good deal. But it's like, you know, the thing is they're not telling the truth. That's the problem. It was generic. It was like that letter that they released. That was the most generic, not family-friendly business. That was like a generic government form letter. I mean, they just changed the letterhead. You know, it was like, hey, taking all your stuff, here's your letter.
About 2 years ago, because I was still buying some food storage, you know, this long-term stuff. I'm more of the long-term food storage, you know, the Augason Farms, stuff like that is mostly the kind of stuff I have. You know, I didn't really not got into canning like freaking Tribe up there's like canning everything in Maryland. But anyway, I'm glad he's enjoying it because you can tell how happy he was the other night. But you know, there was one of the companies, and I think it was Mountain House, but I'm not sure. One of them, they received a letter from the government that asked them how long it would take them to make a year's worth of supply. They asked them how, you know, what kind of storage, whatever. And this guy, I watched the video, I watched the guy speaking about it, you know, and he was showing the letter, and he basically put FU on there, you know, on the letter and sent it back. But that told me back then, okay, they're going to go after this long-term food storage, because look at how they're doing the, you know, preppers and stuff like that. They, you know, they can't control you if we have enough food to sustain us.
Right.
They can't control us. So yeah, this was a couple of years ago. And I saw a couple of other of these manufacturers had gotten these letters as well. You know, so they've been trying this for a couple of years.
Yeah. You know, and it's playing into the narrative. It's, you know, because I said a couple months back, I think something big's going to happen around November, December. Because if something bad's going to happen, that's the worst time of the year for it to happen. That's why you test drive the grid going down in Texas. That's why, you know, somebody test drove a hack on the fuel lines. And now, I mean, what happens if all this happens again, say in the middle of November or December? You know, if you're north of the Mason-Dixon line, and our diesel reserves are they haven't been this low since 2020, or no, since 2000. You know, so it's a 20-year low on diesel reserves. You know, I mean, you know, if you heat your house with propane and you don't have a backup heating source, and you're above the Mason-Dixon line in December, and this thing gets hacked again, it's gonna get, man, and then math don't add up.
Bug Dude 23 asked if they could be packing MREs, and that takes me back to thinking that maybe all these shipping containers that are sitting around everywhere could have something like that in there for when it does really get bad.
Yeah, the thing about MREs, the military has there's one reason and one reason only that you're being able to buy MREs at the Army surplus and things like that. Other than soldiers having an extra when they come home and they decide to sell it for a couple of bucks. Those MREs, the government rotates through a warehouse. Once those things get close to an expiration date, They release them and they sell them at a discount, and that's why we're getting them as civilians, at Army surplus stores and stuff like that. Trust me, they're not short of MREs. They're not short of bullets, and they're not short of beans. I promise you. That's the two things they are not short of: bullets and beans. Got that.
Y'all remember about 3 years ago they were buying up everything. I mean everything.
Yeah.
Nobody could find anything. And be well, the government bought it all.
Mm-hmm.
And
they blamed it on us. They blamed it on us.
Yeah.
While they were doing it. You know what this reminds me of? You mentioned the Department of Homeland Security goes. I didn't know that. I didn't know that was part of their statement that they had released.
No, this is on their landing page of their website. It wasn't on the statement. It's on their main website page. Yeah.
Oh,
on their basically their mission statement. Yeah.
Yeah. It reminds me, I think it's either 2015 or 2016. I can't remember when this was released. It was under the Freedom of Information Act. They released it about the Department of Homeland Security, that they had been given billions and billions of dollars to set up these safe houses in all the major cities all over the United States of America, in suburban areas. They look like regular homes, but they're hardened concrete facilities. They have basement levels that have weapons, ammo, food storage in them. And they said it was for domestic terrorism. And this was under Obama. He used the Patriot Act to greatly expand the Department of Homeland Security. And Americans don't realize that. And I've looked for that document for the past 2 years. I can't find it anywhere. It's not on Google anymore. It's not on DuckDuckGo. I don't know what happened to it, but they've scrubbed it. And one thing about Augason Farms, I mean, it's a big corporation. We think they're on our side because, we're preppers. But all these big corporations, ReadyWise, Mountain House, Essentials, all these different long-term food stores, they're all corporations. They're going to play ball. And it's you're right. They're definitely up to something fishy, and it ain't got nothing to do with what they say. Anytime a corporation puts out a statement, I don't believe it anymore.
Well, and people better get ready too.
What kind of a special relationship can you have with the Department of Homeland Security? That means you're under contract, okay? The only reason you would put that on your landing page is you're under contract. They're under contract, and somebody just called in the marker is what happened. Personally, in my opinion, they're under contract, and somebody called in the marker. And by under contract, I mean if something happens, then they're contracted by the National Department of Homeland Security to supply, foods and things like that in a natural type disaster is probably what the contract says. But thanks to the Patriot Act, they can reword it any way they want to. And Chris Clevercraft, it was on their main landing page. If you scroll to the bottom and click the About Us little tab at the very bottom on the left-hand side, it says About Us. And then scroll through it. They've got their little mission statement at the bottom. And this is in, bold letters down there, Department of Homeland Security. I was like, what? When I read that, I was like, no way. I'm surprised it's still on the website.
Let me sneak something in real quick. I just want to tell everybody, because anybody that sees this, just don't think that it's just going to be Augason Farms. It's going to be all of them. We're going to see all this shit. It just starts with Augason Farms. It's going to be Mountain House. It's going to be Essential. It's going to be all of them. Next thing you know, we're going to hear about every single one of them either shutting down or only being able to supply this or only being able to supply that.
And see, and I could see it when it came to, like, if you had a not an international company, but even a nationwide company. Like if you had locations and distribution centers and places where you're producing this stuff in states, California, West Coast to East Coast, I could see some serious issues. But when you have one massive warehouse in Salt Lake City, Utah, I mean, you're basically positioned in the closest spot you can be to everything you need to get. I mean, you're right. You're as close to Cali as you can get to get those fresh veggies. You're right there by the bread belt. I mean, you're in cattle country. I mean, you're where you need to be to have this one big massive warehouse. So how, and it snuck up on them. I don't buy it, man. It's a prepping company owned by preppers. That's all they do is prep. So that one, I would see, a multitude of other companies having to shut down for 90 days before I would have ever thought it would have been these guys. Until I saw that on their page that said special relationship. I was like, what? Wait a minute. And there was no warning. There was no leaked company emails to the employees saying they're going to be laid off for 90 days. You know what I mean? So it's just like, it doesn't add up.
Yeah, so you're basically saying that they're not laying nobody off, or are they?
Well, they might be. I don't know. I could be completely wrong. We'll know in the next few weeks if somebody's there by the warehouse. Anybody in the chat, if you're close to the warehouse or whatever, if you're still seeing trucks coming and going, and you're still seeing people go to work, yeah,
They said they said you'll still be able to buy it from different places. You just can't buy it directly from them. So they'll still be putting stuff out there. They're just cutting off the little guys like us and giving it to certain people they're connected with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, I think I could kind of read into the memo that way too. Matter of fact, hang on, I've got it pulled up here. I'll read the letter because I'm sure there's some people that hadn't seen it. I'll just read the entire letter. It says, "Dear," and this was on October the 7th. It says, "Dear valued customer, the lasting effect of COVID-19 has translated into a global raw material shortage and caused substantial delays in our procurement and production processes. Regrettably, BCG cannot fulfill your orders on time. Therefore, this letter communicates our decision to suspend business for the next 90 days, effective immediately. During these 90 days, we will secure and stockpile raw materials and take measures to accelerate our round-the-clock production output. We will also review our product assortment to make sure we focus on relevant top-selling SKUs, we are confident that this reset period will help us better serve you with on-time, complete shipments in the future. Sincerely, yada, yada, yada." And see, what I'm seeing on this, it says suspend business.
Right.
That
Okay. I have
It's a
a-
shutdown. That's not a shutdown.
I have a thought to add to this. They're Mormons, right?
Yeah,
What if they're against the thing that they want everybody to get?
they are. Most of them.
Then that's why they're being shut down.
Good point.
Probably.
That is a good point.
It's
They got,
food.
how many employees did you say they had?
Somewhere between 70 and 100. But I don't think they got shut down. I mean, the number 90 days is just that's just a number somebody pulled out of their ass. 90 days could be the time limit on the contract that they signed with Homeland Security. I mean, that could be a generic number that's put on the contract that says, in the event of an emergency, we are, you're contracted with us to supply just us for up to a 90-day period.
Yep. Offline for 90 days.
Yeah. And they're suspending business. Now, if they knew they were running short of stuff, if they knew they were running short on stuff, a business person, supply and demand is the shit. If they knew they were fixing to run out of stuff, I would think we would have started to see prices, increase drastically over the last few weeks, if not months. And it doesn't matter to me what direction you have the conversation. It doesn't make sense. You don't shutter a business for 90 days with that bullshit letter and, not talk about layoffs, not talk about taking care of your employees. You're just saying, hey, effective immediately, not, hey, in 30 days or in 2 weeks, we're going to shutter the company. They just said, hey, you woke up one morning and said, we ain't working today. That's government. That's, I mean, a company wouldn't do that with that many employees. You would give them a warning. You know what I mean? Yeah. Why would you not say, hey, in 30 days, we're probably going to, dial it back a little bit, or, not shut it down, but maybe just reduce production, which would increase the value of your product. If you produce 50% less, or you're just producing it slower, the demand's going to be there. So people are going to be able to charge more. You don't just one day just stop making your powdered eggs. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Chickens are still going to be laying eggs, and you're right there in the middle of hydro farm heaven. So, I mean, I know, and if it's just the whole, hey, we're having a problem hire you some damn truck drivers, buy you a couple of rigs and go get your own shit. That's what, Walmart and other these places are doing. They're buying container ships and they're just going to get their own stuff.
Yeah.
And I know they got the money for it. I mean, this is a multi-million-dollar company. I tried to look up their yearly things, but it's somewhere around $4 to $6 million a year is what their estimated income is, that company. So they've got the overhead. Yeah, they've got the overhead to just buy a few trucks and go get their own stuff. Even if you just maybe, cut back on the meat and just focus on doing the vegetables, but they just according to the letter, they suspended business. They are no longer trading on the open market, but
Now,
you can still find some stuff here and there.
suspending business to that person they sent that letter to, Ghost. They're not suspending all. They're not shutting down. That somebody got that letter, so they're suspending business to the person that got that letter, to the whoever that was. And they might be sending it out to all the lower people. Maybe they can only keep up with product for the certain big businesses that is the most important to them, that makes them the most money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you, but it's just not worded that way. I mean, the way it's worded. I mean, yes, it says dear valued customer, but it says we cannot fulfill your orders, as in plural, as in they're sending this letter to some person or an entity that buys, more than just a little bit and more than just once a year kind of thing.
If you could only supply Walmart, if you could only supply Walmart and you had Ace and you had Target, you're gonna go if you're and I'm not saying this is it, but if you're short on product or you can't keep up with product, you're gonna cut out the smaller people first and just stick with your big money contracts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and this all kind of falls right into what the Canadian Prepper put out 3 weeks ago. That link you dropped me, that video that he did about him not being able to get the stuff to put in his store.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, that would also keep the price a little bit more stable, but it's just, the weird part about it is because the letter's so vague. It's not a personal type letter. It's like a
Dragonfly's in the chat.
What's up, Dragonfly?
She said that the letter went out to wholesale customers.
That's big. I mean, that's companies.
What were you going to say?
Well, I was going to mention that, like we talked about on Friday on your channel, but Tin had also mentioned they did this before with Thrive Life. Remember that woman that Tin mentioned who bought like a crap ton of Thrive and they put it in a bunker?
Yeah, it was like almost $1 million worth.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this isn't new. This is not new. They've been doing this a long time.
I was going to say, don't everybody remember last year when we first started having the lockdowns and stuff? Do y'all not remember some of these companies, suspending business and stuff like that? You couldn't buy from Auguson's and a bunch of them. They just
you couldn't find them anywhere.
Yeah, I mean it wasn't. Go ahead.
Sorry. I just wanted to bring up one thing when we're talking about supply chain issue. I saw Milkmaid mention it too in the chat. Our company delivers fuel to a couple of factories just in our region, and they make paper products. They make packaging and they make cardboard and labels and stuff like that. And I talked to the guy, and we were just shooting the shit, and he was saying, "Yeah, man," he's like, we're way down in our production. I said, why? He's like, we can't get nobody to work. And he said, we're having to drop customers, and customers are leaving and stuff because we can't get their packaging, and it's affecting their shipping and all that stuff. He said a lot of the smaller businesses are just going under because of it. And he said he don't know if it's the vaccine mandates or people just not wanting to work. But I think that's part of it too. I really do. I think it's part of their plan. It's part of their plan to reduce the workforce so that they can't get little things like this we would never think would affect, the supply chain, just packaging.
I mean, I could see it like say it if it was like, I could understand and see this letter and actually believe it legit went down the way the letter said. If it came from a company like, Heinz 57, people to make ketchup or mustard or a condiment, something, I could see a generic letter saying, hey, we're having to shut her down. But a company that was started by, ran by, owned by people that legitimately prepping is part of their religious doctrine, they're the first ones on the chopping block. Don't add up, bro. There's something being left out of the story.
Yeah.
Roots.
Yes.
Hey, Roots.
Hi, everybody. I turned off my chat and all to get a better stream and not glitch out. But so I have many thoughts on that. I was raised Mormon, and you're right. It is part of our upbringing. You're expected to have at least a year's worth of food. At least. If you have 1 year, you're a loser, kind of. Not literally, but um, it was a way of life. A lot of your Oregon Trail folks and what have you were Mormon pioneers, and I give them credit for a lot of that part of the upbringing as far as preparedness. Um, but I have not attended that organization for over 25 years. And you have to consider they are an incredibly wealthy organization. They audit their members to make sure they get 10%. And I'm talking 100% audit. The IRS, you have like a 0.1% chance of getting audited. That organization, you have 100% chance at the end of the year. They call it a settlement, a tithing settlement. And if it doesn't come out, you owe them a check. All those big, beautiful temples shadow over people with dirt over their toes who cannot feed themselves in places like Samoa and what have you. So it's a contentious topic for me, but here's what I'm going to say. You look at in the Southwest, around let's just say the Southwest, there are a lot of people with underground bunkers. There are a lot of people that it goes 100 stories underground and costs you X amount of dollars per level. That organization owns many of those. They run the companies that have to do with these foods, these storage foods, because that's been their lifestyle for a long time. A lot of the companies are affiliated with LDS, as well as all of the essential oils, doTERRA and Young Living. Those are all owned by Mormons. I'm not so, and many farms are also owned by that organization. So I'm not so sure they're running out of raw product as maybe other parts of the supply chain, or that they're hoarding. Those are my thoughts.
Oh, no doubt.
I feel you on that. Plus, if you think about it, if you look at it from the simple fact that they are preppers, they were born prepping, they preach prepping, the company's owned by preppers, that's how they live their life, then this could legit be the most awesome prepping story ever, because they just said, you know what, hang on, this is going to be a dark winter. We're going to hang on to everything to ensure we have something to put out come January, February, when people are really, really hurting. So it could be a really, really smart prepping move on their part.
Yeah.
I can totally see that. My whole issue for the show tonight is because we're getting the beginning of the story and the end of the story. We don't know what the middle is. There's like, I hate it when people just do half truths, or tell you, it's like, we're doing this and this is why we're doing it. I'm going, yeah, that doesn't make any sense. There's a piece of the story that's just missing.
I have to just a little bit. I have to disagree a little bit. I don't see a big company shutting down to prep. I would think they're Mormons. They already prep. If they're shutting down or limiting their business at all, it's not good.
Right.
No, what I'm saying is they're not losing any money. Yeah, they're not losing any money.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is they might be doing, God's work and hanging on to food for, to make sure there is some that they can get out and give to people after the sun rises. I don't know. There could be 19 different viable reasons why they're doing it the way they're doing it. We just don't know which one it is.
You have a good point there. There are buildings called bishop storehouses. I used to have to work in them as a teenager, and they give away food. It's like a huge grocery store, but it's all free. And they use some of that money for these quote unquote storehouses. And any member can go. In fact, I believe anyone in the community, it's been a lot of years, guys, but the storehouses are full of food and there's no payment, and people volunteer to work them. There is a lot of charity work that occurs, and that could be what's going on. I honestly, in my experience, and I was raised in the quote unquote covenant, I say 50-50. They're either hoarding it for the people that at the very top that can afford what money they've stashed, Or the other 50% chance is that those incredibly poor people giving up 10% of what they own are going to get fed. I don't know.
Well,
Can I back up with what Virginia Root said?
Yeah, we're
About
people who want to convert. If you want to join in on our food, you need to be a Mormon.
Yeah.
That's a good
10%
point. I
of
mean,
your income, it's a form of socialism.
think about the Mormon church as a mag. I mean, that would be an awesome prepping move. If you think about the Mormon church, especially around Salt Lake, as a mag, why would you not want to secure the food for your mag and take care of your group that's going to take care of you? So that makes perfect sense, Virginia. I mean, it really does.
Yeah.
Do y'all remember when we were, let's see, the Congress was gonna go government shutdown? Well, people were asking in warehouses why this was all roped off and why it couldn't be put out on the floor. Well, they had news crews in there, and they all said, "Aw, little one, sorry, squirrel. She's just too
Aw.
cute."
Esther.
They said it was put back for when they didn't get shipments and for when the government shuts down for the lower income people and mostly our elderly. In my opinion, I think they needed an excuse because, well, first of all, we didn't shut down and they kept doing it. So there's
Right.
warehouses that have things set aside. And this stuff, if you saw the pictures, it was all in shrink wrap. You can barely see what's in those pallets.
You had something back with you.
Well, I've seen what Lake's talking about, and it kind of falls into what I was going to bring up as well. You know, if you look back over the last few years, last 4 or 5 years, even, you know, and longer, if you start to look, okay, preppers, you know, look at what they've done throughout this time of making preppers, you know, like look bad, you know, with the crazy people, tinfoil hat wearing folks. But think about this logistically. A lot of these people, the other side, the opposition, is in this stuff for the long haul. You know, they'll go a whole generation of CRT in your kids. You know what I'm saying? Just to get that later down the line, that next generation that falls into line. And to keep us down, I guess you can say, you know, they come out with the we're this, we're that, we're crazy, tinfoil hat. Okay. And then you look back, what did they do with the ammunition? You know, they bought millions and millions and millions of rounds of ammo and made an ammo shortage. All of a sudden, bam. We couldn't get no ammo for a long time. And when you could find it, it was freaking through the roof. Okay. They did that. They've done that with certain things throughout the time, you know what I'm saying, that preppers use. You know, that's the preppers are going to be the real resistance because, like I said, we got plenty of food. They can't control us. Shut down the Walmart. We don't care. Shut down the pipeline. We don't care. You know, shut it down. We'll just sit right here at our house and eat every day and live our lives. And now they're going after the food, you know, and to me, it just seems like something is up there with, they're really targeting like prepper stuff, I guess you can say, you know, the prepper idea, you know, and I don't know, it was just something to me that, you know, like Lake was talking about, I've seen pictures as well of warehouses that people have discovered that are just full. I'm talking about stacking it to the rafters, man, from one end to the other. And with little hallways down them and stuff, you know, what do they, what, you know, they even went back and for a while you couldn't get stuff that pertained to bug out bags because the government went in. Some of y'all, I'm sure, know this. The government went in and bought every single government employee like some type of a bug out type bag. You know, and I read this big article about it, and I was like, even like post office workers were getting this stuff. They had the stuff in there for them. So I mean, y'all can kind of bring that into however y'all want. I'm just saying it's, it is kind of funny now. All of a sudden we're seeing, our long-term food storage starting to go down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, Just Josh, I'm dropping the link. You want to come up? I don't have your email or how to email it to you.
Do you think we're actually targeted, or do you think it's just a matter of those in the know trying to make sure no one thinks it's a good idea to research preparedness or enact preparedness? Do you know what I'm saying?
I think
Is
it's
it
both.
a diversion?
Both. I mean, there's been preppers for decades. We're not a new phenomenon.
No.
And the government knows about us. They've been wargaming this stuff out for decades. Let's not forget, man. I say this all the time. 3 families have ruled our country for 3 decades: the Clintons, the Bushes, and the Obamas.
Mm-hmm.
Make no mistake, the Obamas and the Clintons are in charge now. And all this is a targeted attack, not only against us, but against the entire country. They're trying to attack the food supply in every way they can. They're trying to collapse our society. That's what they're trying to do. They want to collapse everything into the Great Reset.
That's my question: is intent?
Just,
what's the intent?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This should have been random. It shouldn't have been Augason Farms. That's a staple of the community. It should have been random. It should have been some unorganized piece of the puzzle that broke, not Augason Farms. All right. It's an expensive process, freeze drying food. They have a massive warehouse. They have plenty of storage space.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about the Mormon church. Okay. If any religious organization in the United States of America can acquire, get, or grow their own stuff, it's those guys. And I promise you, I bet you probably at least 30%, maybe more of their product is from locally grown Mormon farms.
Mm-hmm.
That way they can keep the prices really, really low and support the community.
You think about it in a mental aspect of things. Let's say Prepper Tribe. Let's say he's got a group of his fellas, they walking down the street, he kind of rules the roost in the neighborhood. And somebody wants to take out that roost, you know what I'm saying? The first thing they're going to do is they're going to knock Prepper Tribe gone. You're done. You know what I'm saying? They want to hit you right in the head. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, cut off the head. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I'm talking like rolling Tribe up, and like rolling him up and putting him in a trash can and stuff,
Damn. Where all these feelings coming from, Backwoods? Because I whooped your ass last Monday in that game, ain't it?
Hey, the rematch is on tonight.
Rematch, oh shit.
No, but I'm just saying, that's what I'm saying is for the mental aspect of it, look what we're doing right now. We're all like, man, what's going on with this shit? Why are they hitting up? Look what they're doing now, and knocking the head off the snake, that's kind of per se, and hitting these big companies, the staple, the big dog on the block, that's kind of, because they're, a big part of warring is that propaganda, that mental, messing with your mental, kind of thing.
Yeah. It's just my problem with the entire thing was the letter, because that was a straight dick punch, because it would not transpire that way in business. There would have been multiple letters that were sent out saying, hey, we're short on these products. They might be hard to get. We're short on these products. They might be a little hard to get. Amazon would be low stocked on some stuff. To me, common sense dictates it would have been a gradual thing. Not everything's great, and then Friday morning, hey, we're shutting down, we're closed. That makes no sense to me, and I can't. I mean, I can understand if it was a mom and pop organization, not the Mormon church. Okay, it just I don't see it that way. I mean, you're talking about a group of people that got in wagons and went west and just said, to hell with it, we're going to make it work, and it worked. And Augason Farms is probably one of the most prepared companies on the planet as far as prepping goes, and they're the first ones to get it. I just don't see it. I think something's going to come to light here in the future. I think the 90 days is going to turn into a whole lot longer than that. This is getting ridiculous. I mean, 2 years ago, you wouldn't even thought about something like this happening. 2 years ago, if somebody could transport you in time from 2 years ago and bring you here, like you fell asleep 2 years ago and woke up today, and you watch the news or you turn on YouTube, you would literally freak the fuck out. Like everything is falling apart. You wouldn't believe it would be this way right now.
Well, we only needed 2 weeks on the curve, remember?
Yeah. Hell of a curve.
Well, see, being raised Mormon, I was taught it could be tomorrow, and it was a different spin. It was that Jesus was going to crack back through the sky, but it was like you have to be ready for this amount of time of tribulation. And to Jess's point, how do Amish differ from Mormons? They differ in a lot of ways, but in my experience, my genealogy, what I have found is that a lot of the people who turned out to be those Mormon pioneers and what have you, they started as Amish or Mennonite or your Puritans over on the East Coast. So it's kind of a morph. I'm not comparing them or saying they're the same in any way, shape, or form, but there are roots, if you will, that grain through that.
No point intended.
Yeah.
No pun intended. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we'll know in a couple, 3 weeks to a month from now, because people are going to start looking into this. Somebody's already got a camera on the warehouse, I promise you. And if there's still stuff coming and going, then we'll know it was something else. You know, if the employees aren't going to work, we'll know it was something else. You know, I just don't see it. It absolutely makes no sense to me. Like, no. And you're going to restart in the middle of January when literally nothing is growing except for your hydro farms, which are producing right now. So you can't get it now, but you can get it in January, and it's right down the road from you. Makes no sense.
Monique King 5, they're a 503C, I believe. I believe, I mean, I haven't looked too deep into the tax part of it, but I believe they technically fall under an organization that is considered tax exempt. Somebody else in here might know or be able to fact check, but I believe they're a 503C. Hey, Ghetto.
They probably might be. I know that, you know, Augason Farms, there's different branches of that company, you know, that do more than just food, you know. So I'm completely agreed with you that there's probably a 50 whatever the one it is, a tax shelter,
Or
you know, for a lot of their stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm pretty sure they have at least one of those organizations is a tax shelter. It would have to be.
Yeah, it is. I always make the comparison that back in the day, we thought that we separated church and state, but the irony is that how many churches developed immediately afterwards to 10% of your income, which is essentially the 20% total tax. You have 10% from the government, 10% from the organizations that started afterward, and they are all in bed together with the USDA, with the Department of Agriculture, as Ghost mentioned before. They are all in bed together. Your 10 plus 10 equals 20. That's what we started and fought against, and we're still paying it. They just separated church and state, but made it the same, ironically. If that made sense.
Chris, clever. Sorry. Hey, Josh, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
What up, man? What's going on? Hey, I'm into this, man. It's crazy. Yeah.
Chris,
bro.
I wanted to do a screenshot and save it, but it was on their main landing page. I'll go look for it again after I get off of here. Because I was digging hard trying to find a bunch of different facts, but it blew my mind because in my mind, I said to myself, I bet they're going to erase that statement off of their They're gonna somebody they're whoever runs their internet is gonna have to go in there and pull that out eventually. But my hand to God, it was there. That's why I said quote unquote. I mean, right hand to God, it was there because I read it like 3 times.
Wow. Serious stuff, guys. Serious stuff.
Special relationship with the Department of Homeland Security.
Well, back in 2020, we redid our food and water emergency, the Strategic Stockpile Council of Foreign Relations. So apparently, I mean, this is nothing new, but they added some more to that. And then, of course, preparing is not illegal. However, FEMA, under a certain article number, can and will confiscate anything that they feel the reason that they need to take from civilians.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That is true.
Yep.
Now I gotta lose my damn food in a boating accident.
Right?
I'm sorry, Hoot. I didn't see a question. How long ago was it?
Nah, just go out in a blaze of glory.
Right.
I'm looking. Yeah, I get, man. I start talking and I just don't look at the chat that much. How long ago did you ask the question, Hoot? If it wasn't a whole lot of words, type it back in again.
Man, that poisoned all my food before I let the government take it.
Native, we have to start canning just 1 round per stream now. Can't let them know. No more 2 rounds. We gotta do 1 round.
Yeah, retype that question, Hoot.
Stock up, people. Stock up. I'm telling you, stock up. Get you some food in your house. If you ain't out there buying food, I don't know what the hell you're doing.
Yeah. Taxes far away from your main prep, man. Far away.
Hey, can I throw this out here? This was my latest and greatest experiment with shortages, and it was legit, right? So we did a double date over the weekend, Saturday. Me, my fiance, and her girlfriend and boyfriend. We went to Cheddar's. It's a restaurant out here in Texas, right? It blew my mind. Seriously, we sat at the bar. Okay, so we went in, and the girl was like, "It's an hour and 20-minute wait to get seated." And I'm looking around, and I'm like, "This place is at 50% capacity. What are you talking about? We don't have enough workers." So I'm like, all right. We'll sit at the bar. So we find some seats at the bar, and then the other couple comes, and the other girl's boyfriend is like a Muay Thai I don't know, he's MMA fighter. He's like, "I need 2 glasses of water with lemon." The bartender's like, "We don't have lemon." I'm like, all right, I see where this is going. I see where this is going. So he's like, "You don't have lemon, give me lime." So then I'm like, she's like, "What are you guys drinking?" I'm like, "Give me a top shelf Long Island." She's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, but we don't have." It was one of the liquors that go into it. So I'm like, "You got to be kidding me." She's like, "Would you like anything else?" I'm like, "Yeah." This is no BS, guys. I'm like, "Give me Jack and Coke." She's like, "I'm sorry, we only have honey Jack, not the regular Jack Daniels, but honey Jack and Coke." I'm like, "Wait a minute, what is going on?" She's like, "Look, the managers, they won't change the menus. They're ordering the stuff, but it's coming in slowly. Some stuff is, some stuff isn't." And it just carried on throughout the night. I ordered my food. I'm like, she's like, 2 sides. I'm like, mac and cheese. She's like, "We don't have it." I'm like, "What the?" Okay, steamed broccoli. We don't have that. I'm like, "All right, what do you have at this point?" She's like,
Cheddar doesn't have mac and cheese.
"Bro, the shortages are real."
Right.
Seriously.
It's like that everywhere here.
That's crazy.
We were driving home. It's 11:30, and my girl's like, I want to stop at Taco Bell because I'm a little hungry, right? So Jack in the Box was closer. So she's like, "Just stop there." 24-hour drive-through, right? I'm like, "It looks like the lights are off." So we go to the drive-through, and there's a sign. "Employee shortage. We're closed." Bro, this is real. I'm just saying. So my fiance knows that.
I feel you.
Knows it's real now.
It's definitely real.
Hey, Sandwich.
Augustine Farms.
And it's not even hit yet. We got time. It's gonna get way more real.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that.
I think they're showing face.
Who? I just scrolled all the way to the top. I don't see a question.
I cannot see it either,
Like-
so my guess is that the Goog took it. And also, don't forget, everyone, to make sure you're in live chat, not top chat.
I also looked Hoot and I couldn't see it back here. Now I have the YouTube chat off, but
And I got
back
struck down.
here I couldn't see anything. So it might be the Goog.
Yes.
I'm sure they're up in here tonight, man. There's a bunch of their
Right?
favorites
Yeah.
in here.
Low hanging fruit.
Me, Try, Backwoods, TK.
Yeah, my shadow band over here. Oop, probably shouldn't have said that.
Lake Ferry, what's good?
Hey, you.
Hey, hanging in there. Yeah.
Dude, this
Got some canning jars and got the kitchen and dining room moved around and moved some furniture so that way we could
Yeah.
store more stuff where it's hidden.
I hear you.
Oh, by the way, y'all better go out and get some diesel and some kerosene and some propane if you need it too. Just saying.
Yeah, I sent that out earlier. So Lady Casca actually sent it to me. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm starting to get like those exclamation points when I'm trying to send things out to people.
Huh.
So am I.
Me too.
What?
I'm getting
Yeah. So
They're not letting our text go
Oh,
through.
big
They're letting our phone
exciting.
go through.
diesel stockpiles are at a 20-year low as U.S. heads into winter. The U.S. may be heading into winter with the lowest stockpile of heating oil to meet surging demands in more than 2 decades. Inventories of distillates used as diesel for both transportation and heating oil are enough to meet 31 days of demand, according to the Energy Information Administration. That's the tightest it has been for this time of year since the year 2000.
Man,
So-
I'm gonna tell you right now. At this point,
I'll put it in the chat.
we shouldn't even have to say keep preparing, be
Oh, wow.
prepared. We shouldn't even have to be saying this because look, the man stood right up there, the bumbling idiot stood right up there behind the podium and said it's going to be a long dark winter. And now all of a sudden we're at 20-year lows. We got people like Augason Farms shutting down. We got all this stuff. Shipping containers out there. Buy your Christmas now. Don't wait till then. Buy your Christmas now. They're telling you. They are flat out putting
Hey, guys.
it in your face.
They've redone the landing page for Augusten Farms. It's a different page now. They've got a massive banner at the top with their letter about being shut down. And at the bottom, when you go to About Us, where I saw that quote, it's not there anymore.
Yep.
It's completely
Well, that's
gone.
why somebody in the chat was saying they can't find it.
You see my chat? Did my chat come up? Talking to
It's
Steph?
gone.
Nah, it didn't come up.
They're taking our comments.
They took my comment, and I'm on the panel.
Yeah,
Steph,
they're
I
taking-
answered you, but
Yeah, I've been watching. They're taking our comments.
Well, answer in live person.
no, yeah, you're right, Backwoods. yes,
Hell, good.
yes. The answer is yes.
So,
Damn Google.
do you want to see the link that I just put in there? Because I'm not a mod, so I may have to send a link to a mod. Who can I send it to? Well, I can send it to Ghost. I sent that to you earlier
I'm gonna show y'all a picture.
with TJ.
Yeah.
This is what I paid for.
Dude,
gas
they even
today.
rewrote their story. It's a whole.
No,
They
That's in
expanded on
Maryland.
how they started. 389.
I
Wow.
refuse.
$4. That's
I'll walk.
ridiculous, man.
I will, Chris, but y'all take my word for it. It was there. Now they've completely. Unless I was on a whole different landing page, I'll keep looking. But I for sure saw it. I mean, that's why I wrote it down, quoted it. Special relationship with the Department of Homeland Security.
Wow.
Yeah,
Talk about not separating church and state.
Right.
I dug through their Facebook page a minute ago while you were talking about that, and they were saying they couldn't find that link. So I dug through even their Facebook page, and I can't find anything that says that.
Wow.
They took it all down.
And it was in bold print. It was in bold print.
Mhm.
It was proud that Homeland Security was their partner. Special relationship. And now it's not there anymore.
Can I throw a plug out there real quick, Ghost? Since we got so many people in the chat.
Hell yeah.
Man,
Yeah, man.
Native at 9:05 p.m. tonight. Native's got one of the bomber shows. It's going to be awesome tonight. If y'all can get over there to watch 9:05 Eastern Standard Time on Native and Devout. Make sure y'all come check it out.
Yep.
Backwoods gets a chance to get back and try.
Who's this native guy you're talking about? Is this some kind of special show or something?
Wow, what a jerk.
Well, when you come in last place, you start acting like that. When you come in last place, you start acting like that.
My answer was so spot on, bro. I mean, y'all, come on, man. Y'all was even throwing them caviars at me and stuff. I didn't even know what the hell y'all was talking about caviar. So I was like, I don't like caviar. What are you
I was like, I got a caviar.
Yeah. So where's all this headed, man? What do y'all think? Ghost.
Doomsday's coming.
Yeah, man.
Great reset.
What's up, brother?
Yeah.
What's up, Josh? What'd you say?
Man, what do you think all this headed, man? Where do you think it's headed?
I think that drooling man diaper wearing person that thinks he's calling the shots keeps slipping up on the tongue and telling us. He quoted a long dark winter.
Gotcha.
So,
Yeah.
long dark winter and drive native boat. No, I said it months ago.
Yeah.
I think this winter is gonna be bad.
Okay. Yeah.
What you got? What is that?
I need a better
I can't
marker.
see. Hang on.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't see that.
Nothing's coming
Yeah.
out.
I think it's that Bigfoot.
Hey, Ghost, man, I gotta bounce. I gotta go set some stuff up for the live tonight. Thank you for letting me come on this great
I'll
panel.
see you over there.
I love all of you guys. Thank you so much.
Love
for
you,
letting me
bro.
be a part of this. Chat, love
We'll
y'all.
see you over there. Everybody in the chat, one over there.
Yep.
Love
be
you,
there.
See you there, brother.
ladies.
Thank
I'll be there, brother.
Holler. Hoodoo Holler asked
Hey, and
me
if
how much
anybody-
food did I lose. I lost all of my vanilla syrup.
Vanilla syrup sounds good.
Yes,
Oh,
indeed,
it
Lake.
does.
Yes, indeed.
So, do you remember a certain 44 saying, normal people like us are too stupid to what, what was the exact wording, Bigfoot? To something about affairs. What was his, to mind our own affairs? Us normal people are dumb. Do you all remember that speech? Number
We
I
4.
don't.
Number 44. I saw that speech live, and I was not political at that moment, but at that moment during that speech, I decided to start paying attention. That man said, I'm going to find the video and I'm going to post it in the chat. And I want every single one of you to go listen to what that man said. And it'll make a whole lot of sense of what's happening right now.
I will. Mm-hmm.
All right. Who is all right? Emergency Essentials. That's part of Augason Farms, is it not?
They had a different group called I'll have to go back and find it again because they were in partnership.
All right,
with
because
TJ, perhaps I like that.
I thought Emergency Essentials was one of the companies that's included with Augason Farms because they are in Salt Lake City, Utah. But apparently, that is the page that this quote was on.
Hmm.
I'm not positive. Because I was looking at them both at the same time.
Prep up,
Okay,
y'all.
this is
Prep
the
up.
emergency. This is the Emergency Essentials website, which I typed in Augason Farms, and this is where I landed. So I'm assuming they are part of the same, thing. So I'm going to show you guys So I could be wrong, but
Do it, Ghost. Do it.
can you guys see that?
You froze.
Department of Homeland
Oh, there it is.
Security. Special
Yep.
relationship with the Department of Homeland Security regarding emergency preparedness. Now, granted, this is emergency essentials, which I typed in Augason Farms, and that's where it landed. So either I made a mistake or the internet is retarded. But somebody quoted it. That's why I put it there.
They want us in the bread lines.
So
Yes,
I don't
sir.
know if it's part of it. Could it be a mistake on my part?
Well, they're calling themselves. So they're in Augason Farms is in a group called the Blue Chip Group.
Sounds
They're
familiar.
What
Yeah,
if I type in Augason Farms and this is where it lands, this is the first thing on the search engine, then obviously there's got to be some kind of a connection or it wouldn't be first.
Yeah.
So this is the very top thing that popped up. So it may not technically be the Augason Farms website. I do apologize for that, but it's where it took me. I typed in Augason Farms. So
see who it. BCG co-packing.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting.
under an umbrella corporation could be. I mean, they've got to be in some way connected because they're in the same city. I mean, they're both in Salt Lake. I mean, that's,
The blue chip appears to be pretty big. Like,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, they're real big.
They're not letting me chat at all. Jesus, dude.
Really?
This is ridiculous. I said food will be affected in every way possible. I really believe this, and they wouldn't put it in the chat.
I'm out, y'all. I'm out.
That's the second one.
The blue chip company looks
Wow.
like they are a packaging company. They
Uh.
they specialize in packaging for whatever needs you want to package on a large scale.
Yeah.
Target, Winco, Macy's, Amazon, Harmon's. God almighty, man. My how come every time I know that was just late, but how come every time I get on a live stream my phone blows up? I was on Silverbacks earlier. My phone was blowing up, man.
I was sending you number 44 speech for us
Right.
stupid people.
Yep.
I sent it.
let me go ahead and throw that disclaimer out there for you guys in the chat and everybody else. I may have misquoted, but thought I was on the Augason Farms website. I typed in Augason Farms, and this is where it landed, and it was that other website I just told you about, which I'm pretty sure they're connected. But technically, it wasn't the Augason Farms landing page. It was that other one that I found the stuff, the Emergency Essentials website. But either way, even if it wasn't Augason Farms, it's still a pretty big company that's been in business for 35 plus years. That's, shuttering their doors, so to speak, and they're in bed with Homeland Security.
Homeland Security has
So either way,
a farm and agriculture. Homeland
they got their
Security has.
hands in it.
Yeah, they have their hands in all of it. There's actually, they wrote up legislation.
Dark winter.
Hey, Moonlight.
I guess they'll let us
It's
lie.
weird.
They'll let us lie in the chat.
Right?
I see
How
that.
about that solar? How about that
Let's
solar?
go,
in those
Brandon.
farms, the gardens. This dark winter.
Yeah, I know, man.
Yeah.
And if it comes, it comes. And Kanzi. I've seen 30 years. I've seen 35. I've seen 40. That's why when I typed in the Augason Farms, I came to that landing page, and it was 35 years since '87 or the early '80s. I don't know. It could be a completely different company located right down the street from Augason Farms, but the point of it is that they put in bold print, we have a special relationship with the Department of Homeland Security. Anytime your food production, a prepping company, that all they do, puts in bold print that they have a special relationship with the man, that's an issue for me.
Yeah.
They're probably also keeping tabs on who's buying it.
Oh yeah.
That's
Yeah.
probably why they won't in with them, so they know who's got what. Think about it, y'all.
Yeah.
I like you, TJ Preps. I like you. Seriously. Yeah.
All
You
right,
guys,
y'all. I'm
I
out.
remember.
I'm bouncing.
All right.
Oh,
All
See you
right.
later.
have fun hanging with y'all. Thanks,
We're
Ghost.
fixing to shut
Thanks,
down here
chat.
in a minute.
Love all y'all.
Yeah,
Peace.
brother.
Peace.
We're fixing
There
to
was
shut down in a
something
minute.
about this a year or two ago when this came out that they were keeping up with who was buying that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
there's a
why.
database.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
if you've got 50 bags of, or 50 number 10 cans of eggs, Homeland Security knows you got that 50. You know what I'm saying?
Especially if you
Yeah.
bought them online.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yep.
Yeah, it don't matter if you bought them from Amazon or wherever you bought them from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
They know.
Well,
How do
boys
we
and
know?
girls, I want to catch Tribes live, and I want to grab me a bite to eat beforehand. So I believe I'm going to go ahead and stick a fork in this one. And all you guys in the chat, we got 170 people in the chat. That's awesome. You guys make sure you tune in Saturday night and come can with us. 174 right now. Y'all come can with us on Saturday night, or at least watch us can, or hang out.
Hey,
Talk.
do me a favor, everybody. Hit that thumbs up on the way out, please.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, hit the thumbs up if you would, or down. Either way.
Appreciate
for me.
y'all, man. Safe. Prep
Yeah,
up.
man, anytime. But thanks everybody for hanging out with us for an hour and a half. I do appreciate it. And I'm gonna go get something to eat, and then we're gonna go hang out with Native and Prepper Tribe. I think Backwoods, you're part of it too, ain't you?
Yeah.
And who else is over there?
I have a sneaky
It's like 4 or 5 people.
feeling- Prepping outside the box is going to be there tonight.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a sneaky feeling they're all ganging up on me, man. I think that's why they dipped out. So
They
they,
just might.
I think
Probably
they are.
so. But special thank you to Lake Ferry. Thank you, TJ. Thank you, Backwood, Roots, Josh, Tribe,
Yes, sir.
Native. I appreciate everybody that come hung out with me. I appreciate it. We're gonna call it a night, boys and girls, and I'm gonna go get something to eat. We'll see you guys next time.
All right.
See y'all.
Y'all have a good one.
Peace out.
See you later.
What up?